All right, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the New Breed Podcast, the world's best podcast about new metal, because it's not just music, it's a way of life. I'm one half of your hosting duo, Jay Horskow. With me, I have my partner in crime, the notorious Tim Anderson Jr. Tim, how's it going?
Great, man.
Fantastic. So for this week, we have a very special guest. Guy sings for a band. You kind of might have heard of them. They've had like 9 albums. They've played Ozfest. A band from Florida by the name of Nonpoint with our very special guest. We have Elias Soriano. Elias, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thanks, Elias. Me. Hey, yes. All right. I'm wonderful. Good.
Awesome. Glad
all
to have
around
you.
Wonderful. All 361 degrees of me is wonderful.
Dude, I just have to go off and say, like, this is like a surreal one for me because I listened to when Recoil came out. I must have listened to that record like a million fucking times. That record is goddamn incredible to this day, and I just wanted to tell you that record like changed my life, like music wise, because that record is just I just can't say enough good things about it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Me and my ex used to listen to that. Sorry to cut you off, but me and my ex used to listen to that record literally every day for like 2 years. Like every day, we wouldn't miss a day.
That was when we were pushing a little harder with our songwriting and really we had a little bit of we felt like a little bit more freedom with our songwriting. Things started to really open up for us there. So that's a good one to come in on. So I'm excited, man.
Yeah, dude, like just the opening, I could just hear the opening track in my head right now. Like, it's fucking amazing record, man. Seriously. And in the genre of new metal, if you consider it a new metal record, it's top 5 for me.
Thank you.
Seriously, man. I would not lie to you. That record is goddamn incredible. And when you messaged to come on, I was like, what? Okay.
Tim texted me. He said, hey, Elias from Nonpoint wants to be on the show. And I said, stop fucking around, Tim. It's too early for this shit. And he said, no, seriously. And then he sent me a screen cap and I went, oh, okay. All right. Well, all right. Let's do it.
Yeah. You can thank my man, Jason, our new guitar player. He listened to you guys and saw you guys and thought it was a good one to get on. So
cool.
Exciting.
Okay.
Exciting.
Cool stuff. So Elias, I'm going to ask you the first question, right? And I'm going to sum up the question in one word: longevity, right? So many bands from your era, right, have come and gone. And yet you guys are still here. You're still putting out music. You're still putting out good music. I dove in this morning into To The Pain, which I had never heard. And I was like, holy shit, this is some serious songwriting. What's your secret? How do you maintain the discipline, the longevity? I mean, and to continuously put out quality recordings when, I mean, I'll be honest with you, Elias, when I first saw you guys, I think it was Ozfest 2000. So 90% of the bands you were with, except for Ozzy, right, who's never going to die. He's like Mick Jagger. He's going to live forever.
Yeah.
Taproot's not around anymore. Union Underground, Spineshank, Drowning Pool, and most of those bands have gone by the wayside. And yet you guys are still kicking. What's the secret?
I think we just have a lot to say, and I think we love, the process of songwriting and the hunt of being in the music business is quite a gas. You really wake up with some exciting things on your plate to kind of try to handle. So that coupled with a fan base that is just unbelievable. I got to give credit where credit's due. Our fans they are relentless as we are. So it definitely keeps coals in the fire and keeps the train going.
Yeah, it's got to be rough for you guys. Like, I mean, not touring for the last year, that's got to be rough.
It was actually a nice little break.
Okay.
We toured quite a bit.
I was gonna say you guys are fucking road warriors.
Yeah, you guys are always out there, always out.
Yes, relentless touring. So it is probably a good break for everybody to get a little bit of a lot less sweat, less dread slapping you in the face at your show. Not so much comedic in between song insults. Yeah, that's they got a break from that, and it allowed us a chance to really build out a great team and get ready for this new release.
And I'm sure you guys are ready now to go out. I mean, I'm sure everybody's like, all right, let's go.
Yeah, we're making plans right now. We have a great new agency that's taking really great care of us, and has a great plan in store for us, and we're excited to get it going.
Yeah, man, I'm excited too, man.
I gotta admit, as a fan of not only just music, but what's technically considered extreme music, right? Not what you find on the radio. I'm kind of terrified for my wallet and my old man feet, because everybody's gonna hit the road at the same time. I got to get a good pair of like Dr. Scholl's and some insoles, because everybody's gonna hit the road. And I said to the wife, I said, you had a year and a half where I didn't do shit. I literally just sat around on the internet downloading stuff. I said, now all these bands are gonna tour. And we got to get out of the house. Like, I got to get out of the house. I mean, I miss, you joke about, dread slapping your face. I miss that, the smelly dudes and the amps in the face. Like, I kind of miss that. That scene.
It needs to be, it definitely needs to come back. And when it does, it's going to come back with a vengeance. Seeing the packages coming together and a lot of the festivals, Rebel Rock, we're on Rebel Rock this year. That lineup is just unbelievable. So, I know there's going to be some great packages to not only watch, be a part of, but fans are ready to see us play, and we're ready to get out there and really, really do some playing.
So let me ask you this. Well, you brought up, Elias, you brought up Rebel Rock. Traditionally, it's always been Europe that has the big festival circuit, right? You do a festival in Holland, you do Belgium, you do the UK, and you basically just work your way around the continent. It looks like in America this year, we're kind of doing the same thing. You've got a couple in Florida, you've got one in Houston, you got one in Chicago. Do you think maybe this represents an inflection point where it's going to change from everybody goes out by themselves to those, because people don't realize how small Europe is compared to the continent of the United States. Do you think maybe we're going to see more of that European giant festival type presence here in the States, where you do like, what is it, Lollapalooza in Chicago or Riot Fest, and then you do New York, and then you do Philly? Do you think it's a possibility?
If honestly, let's be honest, if budgets allow it, that's going to be that's a lot of big ticket prices. And it's easy when you can stretch it out, smaller packages, $20 here, $25 here, maybe, $30 tops here. When you're spending $50, $75, $100 twice a month, that's a lot to ask of fans. So, I feel like right now we got a good rhythm, and these festivals are really, they're putting together the right packages, and, props to the people putting those together. The lineups are looking monster this year. So.
Yeah, I was impressed by, there's some new metal. There's some, like, I saw Cannibal Corpse is on the same, what was it, Psycho Las Vegas, I think, where it's Cannibal Corpse and the Flaming Lips. I was like, well, that's an interesting dichotomy there, but I also think there's an appetite for that. People, you can't have
Faith No More is on Not Fest.
Yep.
Come on, I can't wait to that's those boys knowing great music and wanting to make sure that their fans are exposed to things that really have substance. Good for them.
So speaking of great music, let's talk about your newest single, right? So Ruthless has come out. I listened to it again this morning, and I had it on, and then I had it on again, and then I had it on again. And it's one of those things where I kind of got it stuck on my head inadvertently, to the point where when my phone timed out, I was like, shit, where'd the music go? Oh, shit. Let's talk a little bit about that, Elias. Like, are you guys amping up for another full length? Or was
I bet you got a 6-pack now after listening to that many times, because anyone that knows anything about our music knows it grows muscles faster than any other group. That song is getting some great traction and some great success. It's fans are loving it. New fans are digging it, and it's a good start to the EP. We got some bangers on the EP that people are going to get excited about. Awesome. Ruthless is literally just a taste.
Awesome.
Okay. And that's coming out on 361. It's 361 degrees, right?
Yeah, 361 Degrees Records. You can see there's a logo right there. It's a self-owned, self-run, with our administrative partners, our creative director Francesco Ludicar, our COO Rob Ruscia. We've put together a small, tight team that is really we feel like moving mountains. That we never moved before.
And during the day, you're working for the label.
Yeah, I'm one of the main administrators.
Okay.
I play middleman negotiator. I help build out some of the strategies and some of the planning and some of the creative stuff. I do a lot of the posting on the socials and build a lot of those small assets while, you know, Frankie directs me and creatively builds things like our photos, our videos, and then also to our posting strategies and things like that. So
Okay.
it's a lot of cogs, a lot of moving parts, and we wear a lot of hats, but a lot of labels do that internally anyway, where you know, people pick up the slack where we need it, and that's what we do. You know, we get it done.
How different is this, you know, instead of just being in the band, now you're doing the label as well? Like how different is that for you?
It's I used to be a general manager for a company that when I started in the company, it was just over 1.2 million, and when I left, they were at like 29 million. So I've helped companies build out. So administratively, my mind is okay, and it works in that direction when it comes to building complex ideas that move across a lot of cogs that work together. And having many things just the basics at top of mind. So I enjoy it. It's something that I enjoy and I'm built for. The hardest thing is the amount of time that I want to give to the creative side and to people like you guys. That's the hardest thing to juggle is switching between the hats. But it's not that hard. I do it.
And I'm assuming, you know, all the years of being in a band, you already know a lot of what goes on in the music business and all that stuff. So you know, you're pretty much got that.
Yeah,
down.
It's I'm by no means a professional 100% in any of these channels and facets that move, you know, the music industry machine. But one thing that I think my team members will credit me for is my ability to make sure that I dig in deep enough and research things, and even spend money on getting educated on certain things like marketing or ad writing or content and, you know, Photoshop and video and all of those things that I try to at least get an understanding on a basic level, learn the terminology, ask the right questions, remember things that the professionals kind of bring to my attention as being important. So that way, when I do give an opinion on any of those things, my opinions are respected. And that way we can move towards a solution that not only, you know, the creative side of the band's cup is full, but my team members are using their skill set and stretching their wings as far as.
It's a lot like I do IT work in my day job. It's like the concept of eating your own dog food, right? Like you not only can perform the music, but you understand all the work that goes on behind the scenes. Like I give you a lot of credit, Elias, for, you know, Tim does a lion's share of our social media stuff, but that is a full-time job. It is a full-time job maintaining a presence in the wonderful internet, right? Between Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and TikTok and all this other stuff. It's a lot of work.
Yeah. You got to watch your socials. You got to understand your content. You got to understand marketing. You have to understand product. You have to understand distribution. You have to understand contracts and splits and, you know, production and recording, and then songwriting.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Then you got to put out the product at the end of the day.
Yeah. And then hope you do something. So it's a laundry list of stuff, but again, you want to prepare yourself for it mentally and make sure that you can build that kind of mental machine where you can keep all of those things top of mind, but also to equally prioritize them so that way the machine works together.
Definitely. And that's one thing me and Jay always talk about. It's like, you know what, we got to learn the marketing aspect and, you know, and all that stuff, because I feel like that's a great thing to have. Like, you know, like, I guess, say 3 years from now, if we know the marketing scheme, we can build this as big as we want to. So
Yeah, and you know, you start to understand that you're up against quite a bit of things like algorithms and budgets, and you know, other people in the same advertising space, and your Facebook ad rating, and there's a lot of stuff that you find out is part of the machine. So I people always ask me, you know, what advice you could give, what advice would you give to an up and coming band? I always say, you know, get people around you that care. But, you know, more so as of late, you want to surround yourself with people that are professional enough and educated enough, but willing to educate you and bring you along the process. And you have to be willing to be educated if you want to find any kind of success in this business.
It's very good to know.
It ties to there's a Steve Jobs quote I abuse all the time at work where they talk about Steve Jobs said that he called the bozo explosion, right? And his idea was if Elias is an A player, A talent, Elias is only going to want to hire other A talent. He's going to want to hire someone who he can learn from, who's going to learn from him, and then collaboratively you two grow. The problem is when someone hires the B, because the B doesn't want to hire someone better than them. The B wants to hire a C because they want to, you know, maintain that sense of advancement and that sense of betterness, right? So then the B hires the C, who hires the D, and then hence there is the bozo explosion. So Steve Jobs' point was you always want to surround yourself with people who are just as smart, if not smarter than you, because then rising tide, raising all ships, all that sort of stuff.
I mean, I feel like if people look at it in the wrong way, I feel like you have to understand that when somebody, let's say for instance, my creative director, Frankie's got 15, 20 years of you know, design experience. I want to use that talent. Why would I get in the way of that? Why not allow her to teach me what makes her eye so amazing and being able to see past something or see something that I don't see, that she could show it to me once in first draft and I'm like, I love it. You're not going to touch it. She goes, no, I'm still doing stuff to it. But it's like that kind of like ability to, you know, take an idea and materialize it. There's very few people that can do that. So what am I doing? Drawing a picture on a napkin and like, hey, look what I did in Photoshop. You know, it's like she you know, she has to be able to respect my opinion in that sense. So I have to give that kind of care on my off time to her profession so I can understand it better. And same thing with my guitar players or my drummer or anything. And any of those guys will tell you that, like my old guitar player, BC, one of the things that I feel like allowed him to respect me so much is the fact that I know every note to Passion and Warfare by Steve Vai, but I don't know how to play guitar. That I sat in the back lounge once with BC and hummed the entire album.
That's impressive. That is impressive.
Solos and everything, because that record is based. The guy's singing with his guitar, and I could follow along with it in a way that even a guitar player knows. Okay, well, this kid knows every lick. He can't play guitar, but I can hum every single thing. It's because I gave it that kind of depth of care, because I could see that kind of depth of talent. And that just happened to be somebody that influenced BC equally. So when I bring BC a guitar idea, or I bring another guitar player in my band an idea, it's going to come with some kind of understanding that, hey, I took even your care and opinion in your instrument into consideration with this opinion.
I'm thinking we got to have a Kickstarter, have you just audio of humming the entire album. Like I would pay to hear that, just because I mean, Steve Vai is a lunatic in and of himself, but man, I can't imagine that. So let me ask you this, Elias, you know, you said you understand the notes, right? You understand the theory, but you don't necessarily play guitar. How do you write? Is it just keyboard, or is it messing around in your head? Or
I play with keyboard. I do I write a lot of textured background stuff if I have a vocal idea to get out. But I let my players do their thing. You know, I keep saying, send me badass riffs. Just keep sending me a riff. A lot of times they make a joke that 90% of the time when they send me something originally, I take the bridge and I either make it the chorus or the verse, because it's normally something that is so striking and so driving that some of the other latter riffs, you know, just don't hold up once, you know, we get our hands around it and start moving stuff around and extending stuff, and they start hearing vocals and seeing how I took a part that was only 4 bars and turned it into a 24-bar verse. You know, that stuff sometimes comes with me playing with keyboards or notes or things like that, or maybe even doing vocal stocks. Sometimes I'll take my vocal and I'll hum it, run it through an amp emulator to make it sound like a guitar, and then send that as the idea. So it's actually my vocal humming a chord through a guitar amp so they can hear a distorted version and get some kind of idea of what I'm talking about.
Wow.
I should learn how to play the fucking guitar. I know. Stop.
Yeah, but at this point,
I got too much,
I think you've done okay
stuff.
without it.
Come on, man. I got enough shit on my plate. I don't need to learn a guitar right now. I will. It's on the list. Give me a minute.
You got plenty of time to learn it, man.
Exactly. I'm young.
So can you tell us about is there an EP title, when it's coming out, or is this all under wraps?
Ruthless is the name of the EP title, and it's gonna have 4 other tracks on it. Then we're gonna have 2 other EPs following that, and it's going to all come together into a final body of work that we're really going to.
Nice. I like that approach. I really do.
You know, who knows? We might have a quadruple record by the time this thing is over.
I won't complain at all.
We wrote some bangers for this first one, and we were like, well, why are we going to spread this out over a whole record and not let everybody hear each one of these songs and each one of their own kind of glory? So plan is to give visual representation of each song, and to give, you know, people like you guys and radio and streaming platforms and stuff a little bit of time to enjoy the song and chew on it a little bit before, you know, we dump another 10 into the marketplace and people are like, well, which one am I supposed to listen to next? And it's like we'd like to kind of like take them on the journey and tell the story song by song, because the Ruthless EP is going to be different than the next EP. This EP is very layered and very composed. And Fred and the band, we all did it purposefully, but without even knowing that our next conversation with Fred was, we wanted to shift gears and get really raw. So our next EP, we're already getting a product, and we're getting songs out of the demo process that are going back even further than Statement, and getting the stuff that I feel like got our fans to start pushing other ideas aside and going, this is my new favorite thing to get behind.
Shit.
Yeah, that's awesome. I am a big fan of releasing smaller chunks and letting it marinate, right? I mean, because also think about it, Elias, you know, attention spans when you guys first came out are way different than they are now, right? Most people can't pay attention for any more than like 7 seconds before they're off like, you know, goldfish staring at something else. So, you know, smaller chunks of really tightly constructed songs. If that's what I want to hear, I'm going to beat it into the ground and just listen and listen and listen and love it and listen and love it. And then I get another EP. It's like, ooh, which is different. I'm going to listen and love it. And it's just, it feeds itself. It's like you said, 10 songs, you just come it all out at once. It's most people fall in love with the first half. They fall in love with the second half. They grab a song or two that they really like and then lose it.
Yeah. And then their buddy is like, wow, you didn't give this song a real chance. And then they give it a chance. 8 months later, and then they find out it's the favorite song on the record because they gave it a couple listens. And it's because, you know, when artists sit down and they write music, it's not just the song anymore. It hasn't been just the song since MTV. It hasn't been just the song since the 80s. So you have to know that musicians and our artists, and we come up wanting to see our baby graduate and you know, and go through the process of its lifespan. And part of that is getting a video, I feel like, in one way or another, whether it be a live video, a full length, straight through a you know, a freaking $30,000 video. You know, this next video, people are gonna really see where we put the money, and we're excited that that our creative team and Frankie got a chance to really you know, use their talents.
That's awesome. So let me ask you this, Elias. I mean, you guys' first independent album, like self-release, was back in '98, and here it is, 2021, right? So you've seen literally the apotheosis and the death of MTV. You've seen Napster come and go, LimeWire come and go, right? And then the rise of streaming. What has been the one thing that's really jumped out at you as, wow, I didn't see that coming. Like, I had no idea that was going to be that idea was going to stick around as opposed to everything else that you've seen.
I didn't think streaming was going to be as big of a monster as far as the subscription based, you know, doing it monthly. I felt like, you know, we all came up. There was one point, I know cable's not really, it's kind of come down even since way back when. There was one point where I remember my parents were paying like $350 something a month for cable because they had everything.
Every channel.
And I'm thinking to myself now, I'm like, there's no fucking way. No. Are you out of your mind? Not with you know, you know, everything that we have at our disposal right now, Disney, you know, Hulu and Netflix and Prime and everything that you have access to. It's like, why would you? And
you're gonna watch commercials?
Yes, and because of that, all that changed. But then I never anticipated that someone would be willing to pay monthly. And that was only because I was still in the moving product side of the music industry. I wasn't in the consumer side. I was in the sales side. I was in the side where I was trying to show my product to people and have them fall in love with it. So it was more about where my mind was. I wouldn't be the right person to ask that.
I mean, Tim and I have this discussion all the time. I personally, I don't like Spotify at all. I want to have the media, right? But I tell the story all the time where I had an intern working for me. He was 23 and I had a CD on my desk and he picks it up and he goes, what the hell is this? And I said, are you asking because you don't know? Or are you asking because, no, he said, I know what this is. He goes, why would you buy one of these things? And then I was like, I can try and explain it to you, but it's not going to resonate. I still have that attachment to there's a tactile, there's the act of feeding your CD into the dashboard that I'm sorry, you can't, and the sound quality is better. It's not as compressed.
See, you know what? Here's the difference. I'm going to take you back and I'm going to show you why it works. Spotify is, all of the streaming platforms is amazing in the sense of discovery and transport, being able to transport your entire CD fat wallet that you carried around, that it got hot in the car and scratched because you had it on your lap and forgot, and you got out of the freaking car and it fell and it scratched, so you needed to borrow your friend's CD thing because they're too expensive for you to own your own, and you got to clean all your CDs. So there's that experience too that the other side doesn't want to deal with. And I understand where you come from with music quality, but I'm gonna disprove your theory because how old are you?
44 this year.
Okay, perfect age. So You remember tapes.
Oh yeah.
And you remember walking around with the Walkman with the speaker on the back, the one speaker on the back. And then every once in a while, there was that Walkman that had the 2 speakers on the back and the mega bass. You remember mega bass?
Yeah, I do remember mega bass.
Yeah, you remember mega bass. All right, now here's the deal, brother. That wasn't high quality, and you did anything you could to hear that song. Now imagine if you could have had every tape at your fingertips.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
And even be able to listen to it, even on a tiny phone speaker. It doesn't matter quality. It meant to the consumer, especially where they are in their age demographic. The Spotify, Apple Music fan is in their Walkman with the speakers on the backstage. Discovery, falling in love, connection level of their life with music. So that's why it thrives so well, because it's working for who it's supposed to be working for.
And I will cop to that. You are completely right. When it comes to discovery, finding new things, not everybody is music fans like us, right? Well, you will spend an hour.
Remember listening to the radio and waiting for the top 10 to go and go, dude, if he fucking talks over the beginning of my favorite song, while you're floating over that record button, waiting to hit record to copy your favorite song, and homeboy goes, hey, this is Nonpoint's very own, and he's like playing over the whole opening riff. You're like, fuck, it's my favorite part. Shut the fuck up, dude. It's like all of that stuff. That's the experience that attaches you to CDs, to vinyl, to tapes.
You're right.
And they got that same gas out of their quantity. So quality doesn't matter to them.
Yeah, you're right.
That's
you're
true.
right.
And you know what? My favorite thing on Friday is going to Apple Music, going to Metal and Rock, and looking through the new releases and just adding everyone that looks
find
good.
it. And find it. See, and that's what I'm saying. It's the experience. I'm a student of like the entire music world because I've seen so many different deliveries happen and being on both sides so much. Going from tape, seeing Statement was on tape and on CD. And then it was just CD for, my next couple. And then all of a sudden Napster, boom, oh shit, everything. Then all of a sudden it went from, the big, it was like 20 labels to 12 labels to 6 labels to the big 3. And I watched all that happen. So, you have to survive as long as we have, you got to learn everything.
Yeah, you're right. You got to roll with the times and go wherever the tide takes you. You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm like Tim. I'm the same. Like Friday morning, like this Friday morning, I'm waking up and I'm looking for all those Bandcamp notifications. Such and such release an album. Such and such release an album. And it's just click by.
Yes.
Elias, we have a running joke, Tim and I, every time it's a Friday, he's like, yo, how mad is your wife? Because she'd yell downstairs, because we're in our own offices. How come I see all these $1 transactions in your bank account to PayPal, to Bandcamp? What are you buying? Like $1, $3, $1, $10? I'm like, music?
Like, what the hell are we paying for Spotify?
Yeah, like what? Yeah, what do we? Yeah, exactly. Why do we have Spotify? I thought you know, Kim, don't start. I want to download it. I want to have it on a hard drive, even though I can never pick it up. I need it.
Yep.
Those kind of things definitely keep the machines going for the artists and their teams. So thanks, man. Thanks.
Oh, my pleasure.
You're doing a good thing.
My thing is t-shirts. I have more black t-shirts that I've worn once that I know what to do with. Kim is like, is there any band that you don't have a t-shirt of? And I'm like, I don't know, Cradle of Filth, because it's kind of offensive for me being 44. But if I was 21, I'd probably wear some of that stuff.
Nonpointstore.com. Ruthless stuff. Pre-orders up, guys.
I need some hoodies. So.
Yeah, it's got the album cover on the back and our rated R for you. Got to see it. It's so dope.
Yeah. We'll definitely link that in the show.
Oh, absolutely. It's going to the show notes. Let me ask you this, Elias. What are one of your either an influence or a favorite act that people would really be surprised to say, oh, really? You're into that? Never would have guessed it. What are like some of your either like surprising fandoms or surprising influences that fans would be like, wow, I know.
Okay, I'll start with rock, because the rock genre, I bring up this name a lot, I bring up this name because of again, I love bands that challenge themselves and challenge their music and really do something different. I'm a massive fan of Circa Survive.
Yes.
Okay.
Huge fan. That I feel like that they're brilliant on the Deftones level, the Dredge level, the Radiohead level. I really, really adore bands that take that much thought and care in their songwriting. When it comes to bands outside of my genre, I feel like the most surprising would probably be, to know that I'm a huge. I grew up on a lot of old jazz and new jazz. Weather Report. If you look up Weather Report, there's an album called Mysterious Traveler, and then the self-titled Weather Report. It was a bunch of amazing jazz performers. Jaco Pastorius was a part of Weather Report. And some of the guys went on to be part of Steely Dan and massive bands like that. So again, I really love that Pink Floyd, Beatles kind of depth to songwriting, chords, and that kind of thing. Hearing something I've never heard before. And then I would say the two that people will probably be surprised that I adore and know, again, note for note. First would be Chris Stapleton. I feel like he's probably one of the greatest songwriters that we'll see in our time. I'm talking like Bob Marley, Bradley from Sublime, kind of amazing understanding of just how to write just a good song and a good melody. That guy's got an amazing voice, and I love to hear him do his thing. And then finally, when it comes to, I'm a massive hip hop fan. I love hip hop, the cadence, the rhythm, the swag, the attitude. It literally is what I wear on stage when I go out on stage. Hip hop is probably the music that I listen to with the most that and pop that I listen to with the least amount of criticism. Where I just listen to it, I get to lean back and not be so critical and tear it apart and go, I would have done this, or maybe I would have, or not such a fan. Like I love Ariana Grande. I love it's like it's crazy, but Fonte, I would say Fonte, the rapper Fonte. I would say people need to look up Fonte, Little Brother. Fonte is probably one of the most brilliant lyricists that I've ever heard in my life. His cadence, his rhyme rhythm. There's very few that do it like that man does it. So Fonte with a PH. If you really want to know like why I rhythmically delve into some very interesting rhythms and cadences, he's definitely somebody that inspires me in that sense. So definitely check him out.
Yeah, I just wrote that down. I'm definitely gonna check that out. So I want to do this thing and go all the way back to the beginning. Just we don't have to talk about everything, but I just want to go back to the beginning real quick. You said you're in Michigan right now, right?
Yeah.
Why the hell did you move out of Florida, first of all?
Everybody asks me that. I'm in the Midwest. My wife has family in central Michigan, southwest Michigan. And I'm close to the band. Okay. And when I did live in Florida most recently, it was a bit of a strain on the business and my availability.
Gotcha.
And my daughter does a lot of traveling because of me, and I kind of wanted to put a little bit of roots down for her over the next couple of years while she gets back to regular school. So my family is very nimble and allows daddy to move around to pursue things. So this time around we wanted to definitely just hit some roots, and we felt like Michigan is going to be somewhere that's close enough to the band but outside of the city enough that my wife can have family and my daughter can have family close by.
And the weather change has to be a real hit though, man.
It is. It definitely is. But I grew up in South Florida most of my life, so the beach life is definitely always at the top of my dreams. But I found my beaches in Michigan, and that's camping. The springs here are beautiful. The falls here are beautiful. The color changes. You know, when you grow up in South Florida, you have two seasons, which is basically summer and second summer. So
Summer
there's really
and hell.
And yeah, there's really no winter. I remember one year there was 3 days of winter, so it's pretty it's pretty cool to have the seasons to play with up here.
I think that's a reoccurring theme with people that move from like somewhere like California or Florida, and they come to like a state that gets really cold. They like the changing of seasons.
Yeah,
and
it's
I
all the
get
same
that
climate. It gets kind of boring, you know. And if you're
Yeah.
in Southwest Michigan, so you get the exciting lake effect snow. I have family up in the Finger Lakes where you get that.
Yeah.
What is that? Is that oh my God, that's a snowstorm, and then boom, 5 feet.
Yes.
But I mean, when it is pretty up there in the summer, it is gorgeous, right? The Great Lakes are gorgeous.
Yeah. Go to
There's a lot
Higgins.
to do. Yep.
Yeah, Higgins Lake is beautiful. Traverse City and there's lots of beautiful lakes. And like I said, I'm an outdoors kind of guy. I was a beach person for most of my life. I lifeguarded for the city of Fort Lauderdale and did pools and beaches and I like the outdoors. So camping, I took right to camping. It's right up my alley.
I've never done it. Maybe I should try it out one day.
Tim,
it's badass.
Not for you, Tim.
Yeah. I know. Who am I kidding? So in 1997, when the band starts, how did you guys get so, like, you guys got known pretty quickly from what I remember. Like, how did you guys just get out and play as many shows as possible and then just?
Yeah, at that time we had a pretty massive team. We were on MCA and that was back when they're writing, I can't even say how much
ridiculous size.
Yeah, the deals are just ridiculous back then. So, they basically handled everything. And at one point with Ozfest, it was like 5,000 records a week. It was just moving like crazy. So
that is unreal. Especially nowadays, to think about that is like, holy shit.
Yeah, at the top it was like hitting 8,000, and we were just like, what is going on right now? It's been a long time coming to get the same kind of reaction now. It's pretty amazing.
On Ozfest, was it 2000 or 2001 you guys played first?
2001 was the first one.
Was that Development you guys were touring off of?
No, we were touring on Statement.
Oh shit! Okay.
Yeah, it was on Statement. It was at the tail end of Statement, I believe. I'm almost positive. I hope so. Yes. Yeah, because we filmed Endure, I believe, on a mix of a couple festival shows that we were on. And Rob's probably going to jump on the comments and complain about me not knowing, because I'm probably wrong. I'm not going to lie. My brain don't work so well these days in that sense of remembering those shows back then.
So for Statement, you guys, What a Day was fucking huge for you guys. It's a great fucking song. I know why, but like how was, like, when you guys started getting onto the bigger tours, like, was the reaction from the crowd like what you expected, or did it take a little bit for you guys to get people to enjoy what they were hearing?
Well, with Ozfest, people were recognizing the song relatively quick because we were. Sorry, I have to keep adjusting because I'm on my phone and I keep hitting the cord and things are about to fall over on me. But at that point we were playing after Hatebreed.
Wow.
I think I remember that. I do remember that. Yeah.
So we kind of so let me take you back to the moment. We're playing, we're on the lineup, we are where we are in the lineup. The song's doing relatively well, though Hatebreed is obviously a more popular band at the time. So they do their thing, and we're dear friends. I love the Hatebreed guys. They're friends of ours. Jamie and Rob talk all the time, and we actually became really good friends on that tour because we were playing after each other. But I ain't gonna lie and say that when they walked off stage and walked past us, that I didn't feel like that James Brown, Mick Jagger moment where he was like, "Welcome to America," and like walked past me and like made me feel like, oh shit, I gotta follow that. And so I am going to right now, this is one of the many times that I've given Hatebreed credit for our show, is that we put on a very energetic live show in our local scene. It's one of the reasons that we got signed. So it's not like we stood around before we played after Hatebreed. But when those boys came off stage, I remember my drummer Rob grabbing me and like, "Hey man, you better fucking go hard when we go out there today and forever now, because we got to follow Hatebreed." And we did. We went really hard. We all went really hard, and it kind of set the bar for Nonpoint, because we were playing in such a large scale crowd that we were showing that show to so many people that we were like, now we kind of got to do it. It's sort of like Slipknot with the masks and the garage shoots. I bet Midsummer, Florida, on that first festival tour, they were like, "Fuck, maybe we should have done
terrible
tank tops and board shorts and masks instead of
coveralls."
So, yes. So we definitely set that bar for ourselves in advance. So we pulled the Slipknot.
So Ozfest, though, being such a young band and getting on that huge, probably the biggest tour in metal around, for what, Jay, you would say like 98 through like 2000.
Yeah.
I mean,
it was 98 through at least 2004, 2005. That was the tour to get on, right?
Yeah.
That's how you
that
got
and
noticed.
bands Warped Tour. Those two were the ones.
Yeah. Did you guys play Warped Tour?
We played a couple dates on Warped Tour when they came down south, but at the time we were the new metal genre, and the Vans Warped Tour scene was very
punk.
We don't play in your, we don't like you guys.
Like, who was like that kind of band? Thing.
Yeah. It's too much. I don't know.
But like, how's the band's experience? Like I said, being so young, just being on that tour like that. I mean, especially playing with people like in 2001. I mean, I can't remember the exact lineup now, but it was a huge fucking new metal tour. I mean, back then, new metal was fucking crazy huge. You can't deny that. So
that's what it was. I mean, I feel like it was a bunch of guys and gals that had the opportunity to really just be artists and really have fun. Those days are hard to find these days. It's a lot of it's a lot of work. It's and rightfully so, because that's what it takes to make things happen successfully. So, but back then it definitely gave you an opportunity to really dig into your persona and really dig into your creative side and enjoy being an artist.
Yeah, and the partying back then had to be awesome too. I mean,
that's part of the enjoying being an artist.
Yeah.
In case you
backstage,
missed that.
right?
I tried to be general about it, but he just went right for it.
See, that's
the
thing.
Freight train.
That's the thing for me. Like, if I'm on a tour like that playing, like the partying's gonna be, I'm gonna be thinking of that a lot, because I don't know
how the artists keep it together. Right, like
either.
You pace yourself, and you try not to be a fucking rock cliche, and you party when you can, and you try not to risk the show the next day. That's what I do. That's what I hope other people do. I really see some people really not doing that more often than so. But I create our longevity to that too. We want to put on a good show. We like that more than we like getting hammered every night.
It's like, do I want to drink at 6 p.m. before I'm singing, or should I wait?
I do. I'm not gonna lie and say I don't want to, but I know that that hour matters to me.
Yeah, like you said, you're in there for the show, and each fan you win over every show is just another one that's going to grow and grow and grow, and it feeds back onto itself.
Yeah, and I mean afterwards, I'll have a couple drinks, but I'm those days of getting shit hammered to the point of not being able to move. We save those to when we know we have a day off the next day.
Right,
gotcha.
So that way we can at least have a day of curtain closed in the bunk, leave me the fuck alone, let me recover. And they're like, hey, I didn't see you at all yesterday. How you doing there, Mr. Jaeger? So Wild Turkey and Jaeger. So you didn't like that?
I got a hangover.
It's called the German gobbler. German gobbler.
Oh my God, I got a hangover just thinking about it.
Yeah, so, Jaeger and Wild Turkey. Enjoy yourself.
Oh my God. Take years off your life. So Elias, you've toured with a whole slew of bands. 2 questions. Who is the band that you were not expecting to impress you the way they did? And when you think back to all the shows you played, and who is the band that in hindsight you would go, I'm really surprised they weren't bigger because they really had something? Who are those that when you think who jumps out at you?
Pressure 4-5 should have been gigantic.
Okay.
There's a band that came up in the new metal scene, and if you do not know them and you are doing new metal here, gentlemen, then check out Pressure 4-5. They came up at the same time that Alien Ant Farm.
Okay.
But that singer wrote some of the most amazing lyrics and hooks that I've ever heard in music. I still play that record to this day. Amazing band, Pressure 4-5. And as of late, they should have been bigger. What was the other one? Yes.
Who did you see that completely just blew your doors off? Like you were not expecting this band to come out and impress you the way they did.
Impress me the way they did. I would
put them
say
on the spot.
It's a toss-up. It's definitely a toss-up between Hyro and probably Circa. We go relatively hard on stage, and it's hard to find people that go hard as you do, and you feel like that go hard as you do. And the boys in Hyro have that unrelentless hunger on stage that is buried in performance. Just they perform, and it's pretty amazing to watch them, all together, just that camp and Hyro really do what they do. Circa, those guys really surprised me because of, again, not only having the care on their music, but the care on their live performance and their show, but their crowd interaction and their crowd loyalty is wow. That was pretty impressive to see. I did not expect. It reminded me of those old days of watching, Shai Hulud and all those boys and Hatebreed, where you watch the fans sing every word while the pit is going, like having both. It's not just the one where everybody sings and then everybody pits. No, it's like the pit's going and they're singing in the pit, they're singing outside the pit, they're singing at the bar, they're singing everywhere. It's pretty dope.
Yeah, and Anthony is one of the best vocalists of all time. I mean, and a lot of people always say like, his voice is too high, and I'm like, what? Like, are you listening to this? Like, dude, it's amazing.
No, that man has a brilliant voice and is a talented songwriter, and he knows how to play guitar. He knows how to fucking play guitar.
Even Seosin's amazing too. I mean, his voice he lends to everything. It's great, man.
Yeah, he's a good screamer, and he's got great melody, and he's got great emotion in his voice, and his choice of melody. I love how much he plays on the black keys and plays in that very minor side of music. lot of diminished chords and a lot of chords that I never would have imagined going like in succession. So it's fun to watch.
It's funny too, like just to bring up a quick little story, like me and Jay had on with Jay, goddamn, now I'm forgetting his name, Salad Day Studios.
Oh, shit, now you're gonna make me forget. McTurnan, Brian McTurnan.
Yeah, Brian McTurnan. So he was telling us how he recorded Juturna and stuff. And he had Anthony singing next to him, like wasn't in the booth, he was just singing next to him. And Brian was just like, when he was singing, I just couldn't help but just look over and go, oh my fucking God, this dude is amazing. And it's just like stories like that I hear. I just appreciate shit like that, man. Because
very few rock bands that I was in Revolution Live, and Cirque Survive came into town, and like I said, there's very few bands that I do this for. I got fucking shit hammered. I knew the owner of the club because it's a Revolution. We play there often, and I got into the VIP because they had closed out the VIP, and people were recognizing me in the club, and I was there with my mother and my wife, and I kind of wanted my own space, with the crowd. So he was like, "Hey, just go into VIP. Don't worry about it. It's no big deal." So I'm like, "Hey, thanks." So I run into VIP with my family, and I push to the front of that VIP box, which is up on the 3rd level of the club, and it's a great shot of the stage. And I spent at least a good solid 6 minutes spread throughout the show, screaming the words "Circus Survive" over the front of that balcony, just because I was in such fanboy mode. So it's one of those bands that it still allows me to enjoy music.
Yeah, to enjoy music as a consumer, not as necessarily as a producer. Somewhere where you can just turn off the, hey, I know how the sausage is made, and just enjoy it.
Yes, definitely.
So I want to get into, because I noticed as I was looking through a lot of stuff, you guys have done a lot of songs for like WWE and movies and stuff like that. Like how did that work to, like, back in the day? Like, I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, is that something like to this day, like if that song gets played, is it still something like a royalty thing, or like did they purchase a song off you? Like, how does that work?
No, that's all contract stuff and understanding publishing and stuff like that. But they sometimes reach out. A lot of times it's EA Sports or the wrestling people. With AEW recently, it was my man Mikey Ruckus, who just happened to be a fan of the band and works with the administrative team there. Reached out, saw what we were doing about a year ago. We connected and moved some stuff around and got a song done. But it's part of the business side that probably people won't really give a shit about.
No. Yeah, you don't have to give figures or anything. I was just curious about that because I was looking. I'm like, damn, they had a lot of songs on like soundtracks and wrestling.
Yeah,
and
teams, cool. Your teams and people that are working for public.
Did it freeze?
Did we lose you, Elias?
Should we pause?
Yeah, let me pause it.
Yeah. There we go.
I have another one, guys, here in shortly.
What's that?
I gotta pull soon because
okay, yeah,
Absolutely, man.
I got one at 8, so I can do like another 3 minutes.
Okay. No, dude, we can get off now, man. Because
no. Let's tie it up like for real. I don't want to.
Let's wrap it up. So, Elias, where can people go? I mean, obviously, we're gonna have stuff in the show notes. So where can people go if they want to get more information about Nonpoint? They want to pre-order the coming EP. They want to follow you guys and be abreast of what's going on. Where do they go?
Well, I gotta let everyone know that the best way to feed the machine is and keep the Nonpoint machine going is taking care of our team. Our team is paid through our merchandise. We pay through our streams, through all of our sales. It all goes into the kitty, and then we take care of people like Frankie and take care of people like Rusha and Erica and FM and all of our team. So if you support the band, if you want to support the band, nonpointstore.com is where you can do that. You can get the pre-order for Ruthless, the 7-inch slides. We have hats, hoodies, t-shirts, certificates, plaques, And like I said, a lot of firsts. So I would
Okay.
implore people to please head there. Following us on our socials is the second part of that. We love to connect with our fans. We love to engage with our fans. So hit us up on our Instagram, on our Facebook, and our Twitter. However you do your social media, you'll be able to find us. Just type Nonpoint, bang, it'll pop up. You'll find us. And lastly, the most important thing I feel like is to listen to the song. It's something that you can do in your leisure. I tell people every day, if you can get your daily dose of Ruthless, do it for us. Even if it's just to get you motivated while you're brushing your teeth or something, just give a little nod to the song, because that also too helps feed the machine in a way that is really effortless to people. On the way to work, your boss is pissing you off, play Ruthless. On the way to yell at the teacher that yelled at your son for flipping her off, put in Ruthless. You go to tie your shoe and your shoestring breaks, you play Ruthless. Yeah, you want to use it as much as you can, because that helps us stay happy and healthy.
Awesome. So I want to thank Elias for taking the time to come on with us. On behalf of Elias and myself, I want to thank all of our listeners. And Elias, we look forward to it. Was a pleasure, and we look forward to having you on again. So once again, everybody, until next time, this is New Breed Podcast saying cheers.
Thank you, sir.